Chapter 6, Bad. A note on things we refer to as quote-unquote bad. When I was a kid, my parents would always give me this super awesome parable that somehow eventually sank into my subconscious and helped shape the way I work with my emotions. I didn't know it at the time, but this story I thought was flat out boring as a kid was actually changing the course of my life. Good job, Mom and Dad. Here's my version of the story I was told. Believe it or not, this is watered down compared to how they would have told it. Okay, here it goes. Back in old-timey days, I assume somewhere in Europe, there once was a farmer whose nearly 18-year-old son had an accident that caused him to break his leg. Everyone in town felt so bad for this farmer, for they knew he needed help around the farm, and now that his son could not help him, he may have had a less profitable season. They all pitied the farmer. Every time the farmer would bump into someone in town, they'd stop him and say, "Oh, we're so sorry for you. What bad luck you have." The farmer was never fazed or worried about it. He'd say, "Good luck, bad luck, who's to say?" Shortly after, a war broke out, and every 18-year-old male was drafted to fight. When the soldiers came for the farmer's son, he was exempt from having to fight because of his broken leg. While many others in the community lost their sons to war, the farmer's was safe at home. Good luck, bad luck, who's to say? The story actually continues to more scenarios. At one point, their only horse runs away and everyone pities the guy again, but the next year the horse returns with an entire family of horses, which triples the farmer's business. Essentially, what became part of my understanding is that we don't actually know if something is good or bad in any given moment, but we're constantly assigning the title of bad to everything that remotely appears that way. And in fact, we're often much, much quicker at assigning something as bad than we are at assigning something as good. If we take that title away and accept things as they are, we can remove a lot of the discomfort of many situations. We don't have the full scope of what's happening in the greater scheme of things. Why stress ourselves out over calling something bad, especially when we are the ones responsible for our own perspective? Remember the last chapter? Why this is so important in your superhero training is that I want you to stop yourself every time you label an emotion as bad and instead ask yourself, good, bad, who's to say? It will make the rest of this work so much easier if you get on board with the fact that no emotion is bad, unless you choose to see it that way. I guess that's on you. Your call.